So guys, every few years I like to recycle the same story. And it's a story of my father who was a horseman. And my father was very good. In fact, post-mortem, rest his soul, he still won Breeder of the Year for ponies that he had in the barn that haven't even got to the track yet. And I'll never forget, but my dad got a call one day. I was in the 5th grade. It was a trainer named Tex Irwin. Tex Irwin says, Mr. Sonnen, there's a horse racing Saturday at Portland Meadows. You need to get down and claim it. Bring it to me. I'm the only trainer in the world that knows how to train this horse. So the horse was $5,000, which my dad didn't have. He sold my mother's car and a bunch of his tools. He was a plumber by trade. He comes up with the $5,000. He puts it down on this horse. He quickly takes it to Tex Irwin. Now, what Tex and a number of the other trainers didn't know is that my father would be at the track at 5:30 in the morning, wanting to see his horses work. It's called work. They could run them. You could do up to 1 lap, and you could only do it each morning. My dad would show up and make sure with binoculars that he was getting the training that he was paying for. Tex never worked out the horse. So my dad gets the bill for the training fees. He knew good and well that Tex had never worked. The horse's name was Sunfest. So my dad calls up Tex. Tex says, no, Pat, you got it all wrong. I know this horse, and the secret on this horse is you don't exercise him. You don't work him at all. He'll show up on game day. Trust me. So we get to the big race, and Sunfest wins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, set a track record, got featured in the Oregonian, which quite simply just doesn't do horse racing. Sunfest runs for he tied the track record at 5. He was going for 6 wins in a row. He lost a photo finish, came back, won his next race, got claimed, and never won again. The story was that Tex knew how to train this horse, which is you don't work him out. It is extremely rare, but it's real. I've seen it. I've seen guys in both my wrestling life and my MMA life that the harder they work, the worse they get. And they come in lazy 3-4 days a week, 5-6 exercises a week, and they can show up on that competition day fresh. Now, I bring this story back. Why is Max Holloway getting better? We got to really look at what Max is doing and who is he doing with, and then we have to assess his last 2 performances against Calvin Kattar and against Yair Rodriguez and come to the same conclusion that Max Holloway is better. What is he doing different? I'm only as good as the information that I'm giving, but according to Max, because of the pandemic, because of the lockdowns living in Hawaii, he's been training by himself in his garage. He hasn't been able to get into the gym. He isn't able to grind. He isn't able to do all the stuff that he's supposed to do, which is extremely relevant when you're a cardio athlete. You can take everything that I just said, grinding yourself down, keeping a fresh mind, keeping a fresh body. If you're a cardio athlete, you have to put the time in. You got to put the miles in. You got to put the rounds in, or you don't have that gas tank full, as Clayton Hires would say. Max is not doing those things. He can't. He's in his garage by himself. He's getting better. And I'm just making an observation. I'm just a guy on the outside making an observation, taking the information that I'm given, as limited as it is, but it's straight from Max. It's from his coaches, from his own teammates. I'm not only taking Yair Rodriguez, I'm rewinding the tape to ABC when he took on Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar is as tough as an old leather boot, and Max made him look easy. He didn't do it with lefts and rights. He didn't do it with body shots and hooks. He did it with pressure. He did it with pace. His gas tank was full. How? How do you do less and get more? I don't have the answer. I don't know how Sunfest did it. I don't know how Tex Irwin knew this one thing about this one horse, and once he got claimed away from my father and they put him with a trainer and they worked him out in the morning sun bench, never even came to the top 3 again. I don't know, but I know it when I see it. And it does happen. And I've seen a number of wrestlers came from that life first, who the first tournament of the year would be their best tournament. They would go out, they'll get a top 3, top 5 national ranking based on what they did in the first 10 days of their season. They will never live up to it at the end of the year. The year is too long. They made too many weights. They made too many practices. They made too many early runs. Subconsciously, they just want it over with. They will bail out of the NCAA tournament on day 1 just to not have to show up for day 2. It's subconscious. They don't know they're doing it. Then you get what they call a dark horse. What it is, it was a bum that didn't work hard all season, but he happens to be fresh in March. And now all of a sudden he's wrestling on Saturday morning. It happens every year in every single weight class. Why? How? What is it about that peaking process? And how do you know if you're that athlete? Because if you're that kind of athlete, wouldn't you rather know that sooner rather than later? I can skip workouts and get a better result. Wouldn't you want to know that? I don't know that that's what's happening with Max. In all fairness, Max is also at that age, right? He's right at that age. When he busted on the scene, he was 20 years old. People forget that. When Max Holloway fought Conor McGregor, he was 20 years old. I was on that card. That was in 2014. If I'm wrong, it was in 2013. So Max still is of that age. We're just staying alive, just being youthful, just living the right way, just getting the right nutrition and the right sleep at night. You can actually get a little bit better. I'm submitting for you. It's happening. And now he's added wrestling. What? He's kept his cardio up and now he's added takedowns? Max is like Sunfest, apparently. And Max needs to get a handle on this right now. And so do Max trainers and his managers. They need to sit down and assess, what did we do prior to the Brian Ortega fight? Juxtapose that with what did we do and how often did we do it before Calvin Kattar? Juxtapose that with what did we do and how often did we do it before Yair Rodriguez? They have got to identify this. They have got to write this down, and then they've got to duplicate it.